Alrighty, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do a 2-point perspective graffiti wall. You are going to need your pencil. Most likely, you're going to need an eraser. Sharpies are for a later step, most likely not day one. You're going to need a ruler, and then I am going to be following along with this packet, which you should have one as well. It walks you through step by step on what to do, and then the last page has some different graffiti alphabet examples for you when it comes to do your graffiti name or your saying. So let's get started. You're gonna have your 12 by 18 paper with your name and teacher code on the back. Let's read the first step. Step number 1, draw a horizon line near the middle of your paper and place 2 vanishing points on the left side because 2-point perspective uses 2 vanishing points. Horizon line is where the sky and the earth meet. Now it does say near the middle. We're gonna try to find the middle of our paper. Our paper is 12 by 18. So it's gonna be 12 inches high, and the middle of that is 6 inches. So I like to take my ruler, making sure it's starting at the 0, line it up on the left side of my paper first, make sure my ruler's not super duper crooked, and I'm just gonna create some little dashes or some guidelines along the 6 or on the 6-inch mark all across my paper. This will help me line my ruler up straight so my horizon line is straight across my paper. I do about 4, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 2 in the middle. Then with this line, set my pencil on one of the dashes, make sure it's lined up with the other ones, and then I will draw a straight line. Now, when we are drawing this stuff, make sure you are drawing as light as you possibly can because the majority of these beginning lines are going to end up being erased. Now I have my horizon line. Now I'm going to place 2 vanishing points on the left and the right side. This can be a dot or a circle. Notice that they're pretty close to the sides. They're not super duper in the middle. Next, step 2, draw a vertical line near the middle that extends close to the top and the bottom of your paper without touching. So this, you don't have to measure it. If you want to, you can, but I'm just gonna kind of eyeball the middle of my paper. So about here-ish. I'm gonna draw a line that's close to the top, straight line that goes down close to the bottom of my paper. You can make it a little bit shorter if you want to. You just don't want it to be too short. Step number 3. Connect the top of the middle of the line to the left and the right vanishing point. Then connect the bottom of the middle line to the left and the right vanishing point. This is gonna make our large diamond. So I'm gonna take my ruler, find it easier to kind of turn my paper from the top of that line to the left vanishing point, top of the line to the right vanishing point. Then you are going to do the same thing at the bottom. So from the left vanishing point to the bottom line, to the right vanishing point, to the bottom of the line. With my large diamond shape. This is the left side of my wall, the right side of my wall. Step number 4, draw a vertical line on the left and the right side. I don't know what that's for. Your vertical line should be perpendicular to the horizon line, meaning that it's at a 90-degree angle. So this red line, that's the line they're talking about. It is not at an angle, it's straight up and down. That's the goal. And then we are going to make marks along the middle line to divide up at least 4 sections. These are going to be later used for our bricks. So first step, you're going to figure out how long your lines are. So I'm going to start on the right side. If I draw my line way up here, the side of my building is going to be pretty short. So we're going to want to make it closer to the vanishing point to make our lines like our walls super dramatic. I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. Okay. Then it says to make about 4 little dots. So if you want to do like your measure, you could measure. So my line is about 10 inches. So I don't know. I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to make 1. Make another one here. These are going to be the bricks, here-ish and here-ish. Okay, 4 little marks. They're not perfect, but it's okay. Step number 5, connect these marks to the left and the right vanishing points. So make sure you are using your ruler for this. I am taking my lines. I'm going to do the right side first from my top mark. Make sure it goes from this mark to the vanishing point. Oops. I'm gonna draw an angled line. Make sure your ruler's not moving. I'm gonna stop it when it reaches the back of my wall because I do not need this part. If you wanna draw it, that's okay, but you are gonna end up erasing it. So it's unnecessary to draw the part down here. Then I'm gonna keep doing that with each of my marks that I made in the previous step, making sure each time it comes from the mark back to the vanishing point. Remember, we're drawing these lightly because a lot of them are going to end up being erased, especially here in the middle. When I have the right side done, I'm gonna come over and do the same thing on the left side, but because it's on the left side of my wall, it's going to go to the left vanishing point. All right, step 6, 7, 8, and 9 is all about drawing your bricks on. So we're going to start on the left side of our paper, and we are going to just do the top, middle, and the last section. So this horizon line, it might be best if you just erase that part for now, because it might just confuse you. So we're gonna erase that first. Now, I'm gonna start here. This, the corner of your wall, that is what's closest to us as the viewer. So I'm gonna skip every single line, holding my ruler straight. There's one brick. As we get further away or closer to the vanishing point, your bricks should be getting smaller. They're not actually getting smaller, but it looks like they're getting smaller or closer together because things get smaller or closer together the further away they get from us. So as you're going back towards the vanishing point, start to make your bricks a little smaller or closer together to help with the 3D looking effect that we're going for. So I'm gonna keep doing this all the way back to the vanishing point. Okay. There's the top, middle, and bottom section of the bricks. For the next part, I think it's right here, step 7, they have you just going to do the second and the third part just between. So like this is one brick, I'm gonna go right here in the middle and I'm gonna do this section right here and this section right here. So I'm just gonna take my ruler, kind of go in the middle of them, and then draw the bricks that are like kind of shifted off to the left or the right of the first bricks. And I'm gonna do that all the way back. Okay, I have the bricks done on the left side of my wall. It looks like it's getting further back. By adding the bricks on here, it really makes it kind of look like it's actually going back in the distance. Now that I have the left side done, we're gonna switch over. We're gonna do the same thing on the right side. So I would start by erasing that horizon line because we don't need it. We're gonna start with the top, middle, and bottom section. So we're kind of trying to make them look the same on this side. So I'm gonna start here. We're going to start out bigger as we get closer to this vanishing point on the right side, because it's the right side of the wall. We're using the right vanishing point. Our bricks will get smaller or they will look like they are getting close together. Do try to make sure that you're keeping your ruler straight up and down. You do not want it to be tilted or your brick wall is gonna look a little odd. But you're gonna keep doing that all the way to the vanishing point. Now that I have the top, middle, and bottom section, I'm gonna go through and do the 2 sections that I have left, just kind of lining up with the middle of the top brick and just doing those ones. Step 9 is just all about erasing the remaining guidelines and the horizon line behind the brick. We already did that as long as you were following along, but you can go ahead and go in and we need to erase the extra guidelines. So we're gonna erase this top angled line on the right side and the top angled line on the left side of our paper. So you're keeping the horizon line, keep that vanishing point in there too. You might need it later. but keep the horizon line, but erase those two angled lines on the left and the right side. Step number 10 and 11, that is all about drawing the sidewalk. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to start on the right side of our paper. We are gonna actually go back and we're gonna kind of trace over that part again. That's the back of our sidewalk. Then we are going to make our sidewalk, just trying to choose an angled line. Pretend like this part of your paper has come down. So we're gonna have like a dot here. And that is where we're going to draw our vanishing point to. Okay, so the right side of our sidewalk goes to the right vanishing point. Then you're going to come on the left side and do the same thing, but since it's on the left side of our paper, we're using the left vanishing point and come up here. So just make sure it's coming out wider than your building, so it looks like our sidewalk is getting a little wider. Then it has you drawing another one for like the curb of the sidewalk, so go ahead and do that. But make this one skinnier. Right side uses the right vanishing point, left side uses the left vanishing point. So you don't want it super wide. This is the curve, so it's nice and skinny. Now, when it comes to these sections of the sidewalk, this is when it gets a little weird. So they have you coming up here. You do not need to draw that part. The left angles lines though. So anything that's over here, we are going to cross over to the right side of our vanishing point. So I'm gonna start over here. I'm gonna draw one right here. Now my ruler isn't long enough, so you're gonna kind of have to wing it just a little bit. So just imagine that you're drawing your lines. But these lines should all be going to the vanishing point. So I'm just going to take my ruler, it comes from my vanishing point over here to my sidewalk, and they're angling back to that vanishing point. Just like with the bricks, as you are getting further away from the eye, remember we're pretending like we're standing right here in the corner, they are going to get closer together. So the spaces between them are going to get smaller. You can see as I get further back here, I'm just kind of like, there's my vanishing point. I'm gonna come out here, follow it all the way back, making them get closer and closer as we get further away. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. For the right side, we're going to cross over and we're going to use the left vanishing point. So come over here, draw that part on, and then I'm going to keep going. There's the sidewalk. Now here comes the fun part. You are going to add your graffiti. This can be a name. This person's name is Penny Lane. On mine, I decided to do like a fun saying, and I said, be happy, and then I even drew like a little bee because I'm cute like that. You can do whatever you want as long as it's school appropriate. But in the packet, I have a whole bunch of different alphabet graffiti fonts. It's up to you on which one you want to do. If you want to make up your own, that is okay. But to make our graffiti names or your saying look like it's in 2-point perspective, you're going to use the lines on your bricks as a guideline. So notice on the example, they did the second and the third row of their brick wall, and they kept their name in there, so it made it look like the name was getting smaller, just like your brick wall was getting smaller. So whatever you decide to do, kind of either, are you going to use 3 sections and have your graffiti wall be very big? Are you going to use 2 sections? Maybe you want to use these 2 sections and then come down and use these 2 sections, but you're going to choose whatever you want, whatever saying, whatever thing you want, and you're going to go ahead and draw your graffiti name inside of those brick guidelines to use as guidelines. My saying is going to be art rocks, because art does rock. So I'm going to have art up here, and then it's gonna say rocks. I'm gonna kind of shift down and I'm gonna use these. So when I'm drawing my graffiti, I'm going to start by just writing it like normal. I'm gonna say art. I'm gonna do nice and big, so it's gonna get bigger. And we'll have art right there. And then we'll come down here. Then after I have written it like normal, I can look over here and kind of start to trace around them. So I like the way these ones look, so I'm gonna use those ones. So then I can come up here and start to draw them in graffiti, in a graffiti style. After you have your graffiti name or words in here, then you can, if you want to, you can make it look like it has a spray area around it. You could draw other graffiti images. Down here, I added some spray can bottles. It's up to you. You can add extra trees in the background. I thought that this was a lot and I spent a lot of time on this. So when it came to my background, I just figured I would make it simple. If you want to add more details in the background, feel free to do so. After you are done with that though, the next step is to go over it with Sharpie. When you are using my Sharpies, it is freehanding. You are not tracing with the ruler because I don't want Sharpies on my ruler. And then when you get Sharpies on there, you smear it, which is kind of what happened here. So please make sure you are being careful when you are doing Sharpie.